Hey everybody, welcome back. Hopefully you liked our balloon video, and thank you, Mason, for making it. Pretty cool. This is everybody. Meet Ryan.
Morning, everybody.
If anybody hasn't met Ryan, Ryan is one of our legal partners at MacKay Law.
Real Property Law, you betcha.
And Ryan made his shirt. He made the shirt
Sewed
himself.
it himself.
Yeah.
And there's a little secret going on with this shirt right now because Ryan is a cowboy, but there isn't that many cowboys that came straight out of Compton.
Show
See
him
the back of the shirt. See the back of the shirt. Compton.
And there it is.
When you make a shirt, you get to do whatever you like on it, and it is awesome.
Now I feel a little bit outed right now because, you know, like I usually, like I don't mind bragging about the fact that I sew, but I'm selective on who I tell. You know, there might be some pretty tough guys out there that are like, this guy's a bit of a sissy.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
He's also sewn a purse.
5 years at the pen, you'd learn to sew. I'm just kidding. That's funny.
But anyway, man of many, many talents.
And happy to be here.
Big sponsor at our Stampede Party, so thank you because people loved it. So appreciate that.
Oh, it was the best.
And we're supporting our
MacKay
Real Property Law mugs here as well. So Ryan, and just to Kirsten's point, thank you so much for all your continued support. You've done so much for us. You've been on board since day one.
On and off the field.
Yeah, on
and off the field.
So thank you. I've always been a big fan. I've always respected. I've actually tried to model my business somewhat after yours, because that's the one difference that I've always noticed with CIR is you're an intelligent corporation that focuses on real estate rather than a room full of realtors that are trying their best to be a corporation. And it's just, it's a brilliant strategy. And so that's the thing I've tried to model my own business after it. So
we should write that down. So if someone asks if we have a strategy, we're like,
an intelligent
we're an intelligent corporation.
Yeah, exactly. New mission statement. We're here talking about foreclosures.
Very serious things.
Back to the
seriousness.
And one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on, Ryan, was because we often see our realtors who may be new or may not be new and just haven't crossed it before, and that don't really understand the actual process with foreclosures.
Yep.
So we sent you a couple questions here, and let's start from the top here.
Yep.
Tell us about the basic process for banks and foreclosures in
You
general.
bet. Yeah, and I think so. This is one of these things that every 7 years you need to know a whole lot about.
Yes, isn't it true?
And then it just disappears. And same thing, like I can tell you, it's been years since I got a phone call about a foreclosure, and yet this year, at like every second phone call I get, it's someone asking about it. So that's the thing. And I think the other thing about the foreclosure process or dealing with them, you know, because like either you do it every day, all day, or you don't. And if you don't, I find that it all can wind up feeling very random. Right. Why did it, like I've done 2 this year and one was like this, one was like, so that's the thing. I want to lay, like I think that I can paint a picture of the basic procedure, and that's going to help people maybe answer a lot of their own questions, because it won't feel like things are coming straight out of left field. Or Compton. As the case may be. And here's the thing, just so everybody knows, I love to talk, but I talk long. And it's been a while since I've done one of these, and what you good viewers out there don't understand is things have evolved here. And there's a schedule, and this schedule is measured in seconds, and one of the items on it is 5 seconds, okay? So I feel like things are tight here, and I've really got to hit cater quick. So a little out of my element that way. But still, this is important, so we're going to start right at the start. So from a client's point of view, this all starts when they stop, or when a foreclosure starts when they stop making payments.
Right.
And generally, most lenders, they let you miss 2 payments, at which point they're going to send you, they or their lawyer will send you a letter that says you have 10 days to bring your account current, or we go to the next step. And that next step is the lawyer actually filing a statement of claim and serving it on the borrower, which would be the official start of the foreclosure process. So once that statement of claim is filed and served, the borrower, the defendant, has 20 days to make a defense.
Dispute it or,
if they're going to. But the trick is, like, the only defense is, yes, I did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But, yeah, it's facts of facts.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So generally, you know, I'll bet you, I don't know, probably 90% of the time, there is no defense made. Quite often the borrower doesn't even show up. And so that's the thing. So once that period has passed, the bank's lawyer will bring forth a notice of default. And that's, you know, they go to court, and that's basically, that's the borrower losing the lawsuit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so at that point, so that notice of default has two very main components of it. One is the lawyer does a full accounting of how much money is owing. And the other part of it is an actual an appraisal that's been done that's going to say what the property's worth.
Right.
And so the judge gets to take those two numbers, put one on top of the other, and depending on how much equity is or is not in the property, defines what happens next. And it's this what happens next part that this is the part that you're going to care about that matters to us.
Right.
So there's basically 3 slots that you can fit into at this point. And no matter which one of them you start at, they all flow in the same direction.
Okay.
And so let's say that there's $400,000 owing, but the appraisal shows that the place is worth $600,000. We're swimming in equity. There's no issue whatsoever that, you know, we know there will be enough money to pay all the lenders out.
Yep.
So in that situation, we would go to, so the judge would say, yes, sir, you lose.
Yes.
But what we're going to do next is we're going to give you a redemption period. And now, in that redemption period can be anywhere between a day to 6 months. If it's farmland, and I think commercial properties, you can have up to 12 months.
Okay.
But that's the thing. Based on the equity position and other factors that the courts take into account, they give it a time period. And so in the example I just gave, you know, that person would get the full 6 months. And so it's basically a 6-month reprieve. It's 6 months where the lender can't take any further action. The lender's lawyer can't run up any further legal bill. The whole thing is just put on pause. And it's 6 months where the borrower gets to try to reorganize their affairs, to either pay in full or at least make current the account that they have. And if they can do either of those things, life is good. So that's the thing. They can try to sell. They can try to refinance. They can try to borrow money from mom and dad to get the bank off their back, whatever the case may be.
Got it.
Now, once that period has ran its course, or if we're in a situation where there's equity but not enough that the courts feel super comfortable,
Give them the time.
yeah, then we get into stage 2, which is the judicial listing period. And I'll probably come back and talk about this a little bit more because I'm finding that I'm seeing way more of this time around than last time we went through this, and I can talk about that in a minute. But of course, you know, I've only got 4 minutes and 12 seconds left, so
we're not in a rush.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
It is funny that there's something on there that does say
5 seconds.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating.
It's true. Yeah.
These guys mean business. So when we get into that judicial listing phase, it's a situation where the borrower still owns the property, but it's no longer the borrower that has the steering wheel. It's now the courts. And so the courts are going to try to sell the property for as close to fair market value as they can.
That's what we call like a judicial sale. We'll see sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where, you know, when you make your offer, it's always subject to approval by the courts. All of that stuff. Yeah. And so that's what's happening there. And once that has ran its course, or if there's zero equity in the property, which again I don't see that as often this time around as last time around.
Right.
We get to the 3rd stage, which is the final order stage. And that's where the courts say, you know what, we're just giving it to the bank.
Right.
And that's where, they flip title into the bank's name, and now you're in a situation where the bank is selling, and the bank is the one that's going to be making the decisions on what offers they take. And even in that stage, the bank owns it, but if it was a CMHC mortgage, they've still got rules that they need to follow as far as what they can, there's limits on what they can accept as an offer.
Right.
And in truth, like there's some properties that actually go to a fourth stage where the bank can't sell it.
That's right.
Within the CMHC guidelines, and then actually CMHC or Genworth or whoever winds up owning it and sending it, selling it, and those are the ones where, like, it's like, my God, why? Like, this thing has been in the system for like 3 years. Why didn't it sell?
That's right. Yes.
And but anyway, so that very basically those are the big steps. And the thing that I want to point out is there's things that come out of that. Now, for the first 2 stages, the redemption period and the judicial listing period, it's very important to understand that the borrower still owns that property. The borrower might still be in that property. Yes. And that borrower at some point is going to be moving out of that property. And that's a big deal because one of the things we're going to talk about in a minute is Schedule A and what it means.
Yes.
But I'll just cut to the chase. When you're buying a foreclosure, you're just buying a hope and
it's true. Yeah. The warranties are not there.
There's nothing there for you. You know what I mean? Like, you're just saying whatever's there, I'm going to pay you all the money, and then I'll go look at it and just take whatever I find. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal. So that's the thing. Being that it's client owned, you've got to be aware of that and make sure that your clients are aware of that.
Yes.
And once it's bank owned, that's a different set of facts and a different set of risks. But at least the human risk, I think, is lower at that point. And there was something you asked me a question earlier.
Well, when can the client
yes.
When can the client take it back and come up with all the money?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And it's those first 2 stages. So again, that's the thing is of course my job is to make everything sound terrifying.
Yes.
But that's the thing. If you're buying a foreclosure process property that's in either of those first 2 stages, you've got to understand that the buyer, the borrower can bring their account current at any point, and then
the house isn't for sale.
Then you get your deposit back and you buy something else. So that's the thing. So there's no guarantee you're going to get the place, and then once you get the place, there's no guarantee of what condition it's going to be in.
And we've seen examples where literally it's the court, like you said, the court's running the sale, judicial sale, everyone's bringing the offers to the court as attending proceedings. Seller / homeowner / borrower comes walking in, bawling about what is happening, literally bawling, and the judge gives another 2 months. And it's just like, and everyone's like, we're here with our clients. Like, what are you talking about? The judge says, all right. Here's a couple more months to pay.
Yeah.
And so, like to your point, this can be something that doesn't necessarily always follow this neat, tidy path that we're used to with residential transactions.
And I'll throw out another thing, like on that side of the fence, some of you may be getting a phone call from someone that's in trouble. And maybe they're in one of these stages and they're calling you saying, what can you do to help me? Now, so, if someone calls you when they're in that redemption period, the thing that you've got to be aware of is your listing has an end date. Now, as long as you can get an offer in that time, the deal doesn't have to be closing within the redemption period. You just need an offer that's firm before you cross the line.
Yes.
But on the flip side, it's a listing that's going to be taken away from you if the property doesn't sell. So be aware of that. The other thing to be very, 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 very aware of, and I'm sure everybody knows this, but if you're helping that person sell, you're also helping someone else's realtor get a commission, because when they write an offer and it's accepted, they're entitled to their commissions. And if after that you realize, oh wow, there's not enough money here to pay everybody out,
Totally.
boom, too bad. You you're on the
You're
owe
on the hook
people
for it.
money.
That's right.
So that's the thing. So you want to be really careful in that.
Yeah, through the CREB MLS rules, you're required to pay out the commission that you were offering to the co-brokerage.
Yeah.
So
So that's a big deal. But I assume that's one that everybody knows. But yeah, it's one that I've
it's
seen
important. It's
people
important, and this is
that didn't,
and just
so.
one more little quick side statement on that is that even if you offer, you make a mistake on your commission, instead of putting 3.5, 1.5 as an example, you happen to put 5.5, 1.5, or 7 and 3, or the one I see most often is 3.5 and 3 as a misprint. You, the individual realtor, are responsible for that. Kirsten, take us to the next one.
Okay, so should we talk about Schedule A in a little bit more detail?
We can, yeah. It's a quick one, but yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah. So the big thing, I do get calls about that. Like, there's this Schedule A. It looks scary. What does it mean?
Let me just set this up for 1 second, just for those of you. But typically, when there's a foreclosure or something, in the members only, or sometimes the public remarks, they'll say, please contact the realtor or the listing agent, and Schedule A must accompany all offers.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
is it?
Yeah. So now, and there's 100 different flavors. Each lender has a slight but it's always the same. And whether you're buying from the bank, buying from the courts, there's always going to be a Schedule A that basically it rips every warranty, like every promise that would ever be made in a contract is now gone. It basically, it's just saying you get the property as is, where is, regardless.
Yeah.
You pay us first, and then you get the place. You're not getting a real property report, so that you're going to definitely want to have title insurance. Now, most people, when they're buying a foreclosure, they're doing it with bank money, and it's a bank requirement that you title insure that type of property anyways.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's thing. We could take a Schedule A and read it line by line, but we also can just say
it's basically as is, where is.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing here too is that when you have a buyer, especially a non-sophisticated buyer, you have somebody who's a first-time homeowner. Everyone hears the word foreclosure because they heard in the news somewhere, fine, bank-owned properties, foreclosures, come in, take my real estate system, we'll show you how to make thousands. And you come up here, and it's literally true. And so everyone thinks, oh, foreclosures are great deals, which is why they're great prospecting tools, because you can say, get a free list of foreclosures. But in reality, you get someone moving in here, and to your point, that seller has to move out, who's now been jaded, is a nefarious individual who has other intentions, says, well, this property's not mine anyways, kicks the holes in the walls, everything else, steals all the appliances, the whole 9 yards.
They take the appliances and move them out the bay window instead of the door.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Without removing the bay window.
Put a chain around it and back the truck up and
And the bank says, congratulations, you bought the property.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you have no idea. You have no idea if there was water in the property. You have no idea if the deck was built in the right spot, the garage was built in the right spot. You have no clue.
Yeah, and I had one of these earlier this year, and here's the thing. The client, the minute something doesn't go their way, suddenly nobody told them anything. Right?
Yeah.
And I had one of these this year where, there was trouble when they got in, and so then they're phoning me wanting to sue their realtor because they weren't warned that this kind of stuff could happen. Now, in this case, I knew the realtor was someone that is cautious and careful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But still, so that's the thing. You really, if someone's buying a foreclosure, especially if they're that first-time buyer that's trying to get a good deal because they're already tight on cash, which everybody in Calgary is, make sure, send them an email, put it in writing, hey, we have no guarantee of what condition this property is going to be in, and the current owner still has access to the property, whether they're living there or not. So anything can happen.
Okay, so let's continue on here. Talk for a second about the offer process that the realtors are going to go through. Who are they giving the offers to? What's happening here?
Sure. Yeah. So the obviously if it's the redemption stage, it's just a normal deal.
Yes.
But with the additional worry of making sure there's enough money and all of that. If we're in the judicial listing stage, then all of the the offers are being submitted to the court's realtor, who flips them to the bank's lawyer, who then flips them to a judge, who reviews them and decides whether it's yay or nay. And of course, the judge, it isn't just about, this is $1 million property and I've got 3 offers and 2 of them are for $200,000 and one's for 3, so it looks great.
Right.
No, the judge, he's got to make sure that you're hitting that high water mark, or at least coming close enough to it. So they don't have unfettered discretion. They are bound by some things. But that's thing. But it's the judge that's going to be looking at these offers and deciding which one they may or may not accept. Now, another thing that I'll point out, when court processes are public processes. So all of these offers that are getting submitted, they are going to be part of the public record. And therefore, sooner or later, everybody's going to see what all of the offers are coming in at. And my understanding, and this is where I may be making stuff up. My nose may start to grow a little bit here. But what I've been told is that they actually have a duty, unless the courts have said no, we're now ordering that this sale proceed by way of closed bid.
Yes.
Absent that, they actually have a duty to disclose what the prices are, because there's no point of getting one $500,000 offer and then collecting 7 at $450,
right,
and putting that in, especially because one of those $450s might have went $505 if you just told them where things are at. So that's thing. So if you're buying a judicial listing, I might be telling the biggest fib of my life here, but my understanding is, if you ask the realtor, listen, it's public record anyways, tell me where things are at. And I'm not a realtor, so I don't do that. But I've had lots where people have phoned me. I phone the other lawyer, and I'm like, where's it at? They give me the number, and then we proceed from there. So that's saying
let me speak to best practice here for a second. Lots of time if this is actually going to court, first of all, just when you write the offer, ask the other realtor, how much time does your lawyer want on this? It's not going to be left open till noon today, and you think that it's going to get dealt with, and now you have actually submitted a dead offer. So you got to give lots of time. I've seen a week, or more to leave these offers open for. Yep. And I've also had it where we brought clients to the courthouse. Your client who's sitting there, and this is like sophisticated clients who have bought investment properties, who know they're going to gut this place anyways. We've sat in the courthouse, and you find out what all the other offers are, and your client on the spot writes a better offer. Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. So, this is where being savvy and actually understanding that can matter. Yep. So don't think that this is like, oh, well, they haven't responded to me, and is this fair, and everything else. It's in a whole nother realm of what they're going to do to follow sort of the, like you said, everyone has fiduciary duties to comply with it, and whether that duty exists or not, I know that as a matter of practice, very often you will see all the other offers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's thing. So because I've had a few people this year that have thrown in an offer, and then they hear what all the other offers were, and now they feel like they're up too high, and and so you can avoid that by asking questions first, usually, and then. But now the other thing I would say is what I've told all of those people is anyone can go to court. Everyone's $500 nickel and diming each other up the chart. Well, someone's going to show up in court and do that again. Mm-hmm. And when they do that, the judge is going to say, you know what, enough's enough. 2 weeks from now, I'm going to open 12 envelopes.
Exactly.
And I'm going to pick one, and it's
exactly.
going to be a closed bid thing. So so that's thing. If you do come over the top, what you are doing is guaranteeing that you've probably now scared everybody else away.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get the property, and that's thing. So if you want it, write a good number on it, and I don't see that as being a fatal error.
No.
But of course, the guy that just wrote 10K or 15K over, certainly that's how they feel. You know what I mean? But
let it be known, Schedule A, no
Can I
warranties.
ask a bit of a silly question?
Sure.
Through this whole process,
Yep.
who's responsible for paying the legal fees of all of these people who are involved in this?
That's a good question. It's one of the weirdest things in the world. But the borrower that's no longer anywhere to be seen is the one that hooks up the tab.
From the proceeds of the sale.
Yeah, and that's thing. So so it's one of these weird situations where you've got a lawyer that's working for a bank that actually isn't paying the bill. If it's a CMHC insured mortgage, then the fees are capped, and that's a little bit different. But you've got this weird situation where the person you're working for isn't actually paying your bill. So it's very different. You know, I've done, like, a long time ago, ran a few foreclosure files, and it was super weird when, you've got a client that actually doesn't care what the legal bill is. Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to, 'cause as you talk about that, I'm like, there are a lot. You're like the lawyers and the judges and whatever. I'm like, that is racking up real fast.
Yeah, it does. It adds up.
Okay.
Interesting.
Closing thoughts here. Any final tips?
The biggest thing, these are very, very live deals. There's a lot of ways that they can come apart, and a lot of those, like in the redemption, if you sell a house that doesn't have enough money to pay everything out, you've just sold a house that can't be sold.
Right.
But it's a firm deal, so you've got commissions you've got to pay. So watch out for that. Anytime you're selling a house that a human owns, especially a human that's going to be removed maybe forcefully, that's a big deal, and it's one that your client needs to understand. That, what is it? We can plan a picnic, but we can't choose the weather or whatever.
Caveat emptor comes to mind. Buyer beware.
Yeah, and then and that's it. There's some great deals to be had, but they're just a little bit more live than usual, and so they're maybe not for everybody.
Cool.
Yep.
Ryan, as always, thank you so much again for your continued support and giving some awesome information on this.
You're about 20
Right on
minutes
time.
over, so
Right
you're
on
not
time.
invited
You
back.
know what's going to be
but-
funny? You know what's going to be funny is that we're going to post this up on our video library, and people are going to come in and be like, boy, that Ryan, he really is a real cowboy, because he's dressed like this in December.
Perfect.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again
Thanks
for
for the invite.
Thank
For
you,
your
Ryan.
information.
Appreciate it.